looking at up to 5 months of work. 5 months of drawing and designing and stitching. Lots of stitching.
I'm Leslie Rinchen-Wongmo. How would you like to stitch yourself the perfect career?
All textile artists use fabric to make their pieces, but this very rare, very old kind of artistry is known as tanka. And yes, we'll say that name again.
Tanka, it's a Tibetan word, and it refers to this two-dimensional art, usually art that rolls up.
You're not likely to meet anyone who knows tanka better, at least on this side of the world. Leslie Rinchen-Wongmo is so devoted to her art that even her name has meaning.
It means precious, empowered woman. It was given to me by a Tibetan Lama when I decided to follow the Buddhist teachings as my spiritual path.
The inspirational images are used in the Tibetan Buddhist practice as a kind of learning tool. Tankas are meant to portray the best qualities humans can possess. For Leslie, taking a trip to India and encountering the Tibetan culture sent her down a whole new path.
I arrived there thinking I would stay for 2 or 3 months, and as soon as the bus arrived, as soon as we rolled into town, I felt like I was home. I discovered this art, I started an apprenticeship, and I stayed for 8 years.
As an apprentice, Leslie learned from the masters of tanka. Her education in Buddhism was pretty good too, since living down the street from her was none other than the Dalai Lama. Before leaving, Leslie and her father were granted an audience.
My father was with me because my father happened to be visiting when I got the appointment. And when I went in and introduced myself to His Holiness and asked him for his advice, the first thing he said was, "Well, what does Father think?" He turned it back on my father, and I thought that was interesting just because he was humble also, that he didn't say, "I have all the answers." This is the Buddha, and this was the first piece that I made on my own.
Today, Leslie is artist and instructor.
All the outlines are made with horsehair wrapped with silk thread.
A whole new audience can discover fabric tanka artwork at shows like this one.
It's a joy to make the artwork, but it's not complete if you're just making it on your own. The completion of the artwork for me happens when I share it with others. Wow. Yeah, I call it Stitch, Pray, Love because I lived in India and in Italy.
Leslie also makes her art available online and can even teach those looking to start stitching themselves at threadsofawakening.com. Very few Westerners can do what Leslie can, but she's not keeping any of it a secret. And that idea comes straight from the Dalai Lama.
He encouraged me to use this traditional Tibetan artistic technique to make images and forms that would inspire people wherever they were. So he even encouraged me to make Christian images or Muslim images, not to stick necessarily to traditional Buddhist images, because the important thing is the inspiration. What I've enjoyed doing is taking the traditional Tibetan techniques and then blending them with some of our Western contemporary art techniques. I feel in some way like my life lesson is that you don't have to follow a fixed pre-existing path. If you follow the things that you love and then you work hard to do it the best, to do it as best you can, and then I think everything's possible. There are opportunities all the time. It's just up to us to take them.